next up in the 990-90 series, we're going to talk about government investigations, and I'm going to touch on this very briefly. But basically, the acronym government organizations that I talked about before, in addition the IRS, which I don't think I mentioned in the government entities video, all have the ability to investigate a dealer. For the Georgia Secretary of State, that normally comes from customer complaints. And they will open an investigation, they will request certain documents, perhaps request the dealer to sit for, or an owner of the business to sit for a deposition and provide information to the Secretary of State, who will then investigate, most of the time under the Georgia Fair Business Practices Act. They also come about from audits, like the Used Motor Vehicle Dealer Board audit, where they have their auditors driving around the state of Georgia, checking on dealers for things like signage and for entryways and for buyer's guides, right, on vehicles and other things posted in the dealership. So they'll random audit for that kind of stuff. And then the IRS or the federal government will sometimes investigate based on reports and reporting and information they receive relating to that. These are serious investigations. I was once called by a client who had maybe 5 or 6 different organizations show up in a coordinated effort at one time on their lot. There were maybe 10 cars on the lot with investigators in each car, and they busted in with a warrant and just started going through files out of nowhere. That doesn't happen very often, but it can sometimes happen. In addition, the Secretary of State will oftentimes open an investigation where they've received a number of complaints for violations like overcharging ETR fees, improper advertising, adding dock fees to an advertised price, or things like that. We'll get into more detail on those videos in future videos on those topics, but government investigations are a real thing and they do happen. So be aware, and a dealer should make sure that the dealer is crossing T's, dotting I's, reporting properly, and maintaining and complying with government regulations.